All right, Joel. You said you had another one.
Oh yeah, this one we don't have to collab on. This one we can do on our own. Next one I think we should collab on, but MCU films, Fantastic Four.
Ooh.
I know they're not technically done yet, but I just chose the four that came to me first, and I didn't think about it.
So let me ask you this real quick. Are we just doing the MCU,
The
or
MCU,
oh, we can just the MCU, not going anywhere
MCU.
outside the realm? Okay.
No, that's later.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, okay. All right. I think I got it. I think I got it. Do you want to go first, or should I go first?
First one, or you want to lay it all out? You got it already?
I
Yeah,
don't
you
think I
go first
got.
this time. Actually, I went first.
So
With Pokemon. You go first.
okay. So I, for my first pick, I'm gonna just go right off the bat. It's a pick that probably not many people will agree with, but I'm gonna choose Iron Man 3. I think Iron Man 3 got a lot of flack
Yeah,
in when it came out. A lot of people saying it wasn't that great. It wasn't a good Iron Man movie. But I disagree because I feel like if Avengers was like the end, or like if we were only getting like that phase of like Marvel, like I think 3 was like phase 2, I guess. No, it was phase 2. But if this was like the end of the Iron Man story right here, I felt like it was like a very good ending to at least that part of the Iron Man story. Like the argument is that it's not really an Iron Man story; it's a Tony Stark story. But gotcha,
he
because
is Iron Man.
he is Iron Man.
He's Iron.
But I think it was a very good, you know, prologue to Avengers: Age of Ultron. Like Tony is like dealing with like the PTSD of like realizing that there's other universes out there. There's like something bigger than himself. He's got that fear in him now, and he's
Man.
had to struggle and learn to kind of deal with the fact that he isn't like the head honcho. He is not as big as he thought he was, and going through this like journey of trying to find himself, and end up finding a little bit more of like his kind of actual just like humanity in that sense, like the fact that his Iron Man suits like were almost all destroyed. You know, the one he has was like barely functioning all the time, and trying to like do things himself. But then at the end of the day, we get this really sick Iron Man, army here to fight. Yeah, was the villain kind of weird? Yeah, we didn't get the true Mandarin until
Like 10 years later.
years later.
Almost 10 years later.
But I think it was a very solid movie. I honestly I think it's better than 2. If I had to like choose, but Iron Man 3 is on my Fantastic Four.
I'm gonna choose a not popular one now. Love and Thunder. It hits. It
Thank you.
builds upon a lot of what we have from before, what Thor is going through, and his loss. He says, "I lost my mom. I lost my brother. I lost." He said that in the other movie, but it's just a good action, fun time, and I think it's doing what it does a lot of what Ragnarok does, but it takes it further. You can have a
Mhm.
great time, but like you can't only have a good time. Like there are consequences. And again, its success kind of relies on previous things, but it still does some great things on its own. And I just it hit too, and I really loved all new Thor, Jane Foster Thor. Like I love that comic run. I have it. It's great, and seeing her live action was awesome. Of
Yeah.
course, Natalie Portman killed it. And I know, there's CGI issues and stuff, but I think As far
that's
as the
average for a
villains
phase four though.
go, I wasn't worried about Thor ever, or until Infinity War, and then his own this movie with Gore. It's
Hmm.
Ragnarok. I wasn't really worried. It was good, but I think Love and Thunder hits, and I think people are just caught up on this old idea of what Thor used to be, I guess. But also, there was no direction. I guess maybe that left some interpretation, but like, yeah, he's kind of a himbo, and he always has been. I don't know, but I think it's a good film. There's of course things left to be desired, but it has a special place.
Yeah. I mean, look, we talked about in our tier list, like it makes sense for his story. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, I always thought it was weird. Like everybody loved Ragnarok, and then just because it kind of went a little bit more on like the comedy side, then people start hating it. I don't know. That's just a weird thing for me. But yeah, I Love and Thunder. I think is a good choice. Good choice. Um, I am going to choose. Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier, excellent movie. Great choreography is for combat.
oh yeah,
Like they did a lot of work. Like the CQC stuff in that
oh
fight
god, so
against
good.
Bucky in the first time. Oh my god, that was, and the fact that that was like real, that wasn't like done in like After Effects. Like they trained to do that shit. And it's
Yeah,
like, oh
yeah,
my god, it was so good. It was like John Wick level, like close up
yeah.
action stunt combat. But the story really good. Like getting Hydra fully into the MCU at that point. Dealing with Bucky. Steve having to try to figure out, what's his role in this life now, because he didn't really get a chance to kind of like fully like be like, oh, I'm in the future now. He didn't have time to process all that. And of course, like we meet Sam for the first time. They have that funny banter back and forth. And he fully becomes like the Falcon later on. I just think overall it was a good, like, that was the point when I think of the collective of people were like, hell yeah, MCU is fucking kicking right now. Like we're in the mode
Yeah.
for greatness here. So Winter Soldier
I mean,
on my
that was going to
list.
be my last one, but since you said it too, it just really ramped up, and it's like, oh, like you're saying, we're going, like this is it. Like I am super excited to like if this is what Marvel's going to give us, and I already liked the Winter Soldier, and then he was really cool in the movie, and they just did it really well. Everything was just done right, and you're taking this character really just relic of the past and making him like ideally a good person, and everyone's on his side, and can't like there's no flaw to a T, right? He's good to like good to his own detriment. And it's just really good. Like I think I've rewatched this the most, by the time when I
Mhm.
used to be rewatching all the time. It's just really good. Yeah, I think Avengers was great, but then I was like, it's fun. And then Winter Soldier was like, oh shit. Like I was like, damn, we're going up. And for me it just didn't go down until I don't know, Quantumania. At least for me. But even then I still enjoy it, but it's not on my list for the top four, but yeah. Winter Soldier for sure.
Hell yeah. Okay. My number three. I have to think really hard because I only have two picks left, and I don't want to. I don't want to mess this up. I'm looking back and looking through all of the movies so far. The over almost 30 MCU movies that have
Fuck.
been
A
released so
lot of
far,
movies. A lot of fucking movies.
and going into the theater, I remember being so excited for this movie, and by the end of it, I still was super excited about it Probably even more than most other people were, and that is Ant-Man.
I remember. Yep.
One of the things I kept saying when Age of Ultron came out, and it's like, man, it sucks that they couldn't get Ant-Man. Like there's reports kept saying like they were trying to make Ant-Man. Ant-Man wasn't working. They couldn't find it. They had to change directors. I think it was like, what was it, Andrew Wright that was trying to do it first,
Yeah, yeah.
and that didn't work, and so they had to get somebody else. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat in the comments or whatever. I don't remember, but I remember when like it was finally time. Ant-Man was fully announced. They're going with the second Ant-Man, Scott Lang. You know, Paul Rudd, fantastic Scott Lang. He fit the role perfectly. All the characters in the movie were great. The comedy was real good. The the overall just like way they depicted the Ant-Man power, the pin particles, and him shrinking and having the effects of him shrinking down into like his small form and the shrinking down the world was looked really cool. And then of course, who can the final fight with Yellow Jacket in his daughter's bedroom on the train set, and then all of a sudden this giant Thomas the Tank Engine just starts rolling up onto him like a like the meme. But yeah, I just remember being super excited, and I was so happy that they pulled it off, and it was really good. So Ant-Man on my list.
Yeah, I remember it was being riddled with production problems. Like, man, I don't know. And then we saw
It
like
was touch and go,
it was
man.
fun. It was fun.
I even remember they either was leaked or like somebody like released like test footage of like the CGI for Ant-Man, like the original version of Ant-Man. I was like, oh shit, you know, they're doing it. And then, like you're saying, the production woes just kept. I was like, "Oh fuck, is this not going to happen?" But they did it, and I'm happy for it.
Um, I'm not going to talk long about it. We've already talked about it extensively. It's No Way Home. That's it. Okay, we've talked about it. We had a whole fucking episode about it. I think for me, I know relies again on many other films, but it just still hits so good. I still quote it. I still like think about it. I enjoy it. It's just so good. So good. That's it. It's No Way Home.
I mean, you took my answer, dude. We took both of our answers in this episode, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not have? I mean, at least for us, how could we not have No Way Home on this list of
Yeah.
Fantastic Four MCU
Yeah.
movies? Like this is like the culmination of every live action Spider-Man that we could ever hope and dream for, and it just hit. Like we've talked about on like three separate occasions already, and like what more can you say? It was just that good. What more can you say? Go watch it if you haven't. It's great.
So good.
But you know what else is great? These Fantastic Four lists. And of course, we would like to see what your Fantastic Four MCU movies are. So leave them in the comments below. And of course, like, subscribe, let the YouTube algorithm know that more nerds need to come here so we can have awesome discussions all the time. And of course, go check back our other Fantastic Four list because it's just a bunch of fun. And until next time.
Wait, I'm Brian. That was only 3. What are you doing, man? I still got one more.
I'm sorry. I thought you already did your third win.
No. Didn't. Or did I? No, I didn't. Okay.
Oops. Well, rewind time.
Or if I did, whoops. Oh well, Fantastic 5. Anyway.
You know what's great? When you edit something, it's like it never happened.
Don't edit it. All right. Keep it raw and wriggling. Anyway, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I just really enjoyed it. We finally got to see Adam Warlock. Star-Lord's been through a lot. He gets his girl back, and it's not the same person, but they part in a relatable and believable way. You know, it's just well done, and they did the Supreme Intelligence really well. We finally find out what's up with Rocket, what he's been through. Yeah, it just for me it hit. It was good. it's campy, but I think it knows it's campy. You know what I mean? It's not Winter Soldier, but it's still fun. It's still good. Um, and even the film, like good things got to come to an end. They break up the band. They have a new version coming out of them at the end, and
It was a good bookend for
it was.
the Guardian story for sure. And who would have thought, like, the Guardians hitting as well as they did? But then again, when you have such the chemistry that the whole team did, and as well as like James Gunn, like knowing how to handle those characters in that world, and it came out at the perfect time because it was high into the Marvel fatigue, but then they were able to swing out of the park and everybody was singing its praises. It was like the best movie that was happening that summer. And I mean, hey, even when young teenagers were throwing glizzies in the front row, it didn't deter us from a good time.
The glizzy. Anyway, fuck you. All right, honorable mention. Civil War. I love that film. It's Avengers 2.5. It's honestly a better Avengers film than the previous two. Not that the other two aren't good, but it's just better. And Brian and I were so fucking hyped. We were already hyped. They do the big battle, and all of a sudden we see Ant-Man running. He's like, I'm gonna do it if I tear myself in half. And we're just like, oh shit. Sarah's like, what are you guys so excited about? He pulls the meter and he's like, yeah. And we're like, yeah. Like we were like juiced, man.
Break the limit.
I'm the boss. So good. Oh man. And the introduction of Spider-Man. It's and I was worried. I was worried about the three: Black Panther, Spider-Man, and throwing in Ant-Man. I was like, I hope they do a good job. And they hit it out of the park with all three of them. So,
dude, it's like it was so easy to fumble,
Yeah.
But like you said, like they were able to introduce two brand new characters. Well, I mean, I guess technically, kind of three, because you still had what's his face, the main bad guy. Yeah. That's why I say technically. Because I think it was something that was done really well because he was like the villain, but even though he was such like a minor character, it like his plan worked. He was a successful villain. He did not lose. He tore apart the Avengers. He tore apart their reputation as Earth's mightiest heroes.
Yeah. Ultron hit him physically, but Zemo tactically and mentally. Yeah. Civil War, just so good.
Oh yeah.
My wife and I were just quoting yesterday, something just flew in me, We're just that one,
Oh, and just like the relationship between Sam and Bucky just like blossoming in front of our very eyes. Like two fucking like shithead teenagers picking on each other all the goddamn time.
Couldn't have done that earlier. I hate you.
Can you
move up your seat?
No.
And I'm nodding when Steve Rogers kisses his niece. Okay, anyway.
This has been the Fantastic Four MCU. Let us know what your Fantastic Four MCU picks are in the comments down below. And of course, like, subscribe. Well, I'm saying it again because we want everybody to come hang out with us and have some awesome nerdy conversations. And of course, look back at our other Fantastic Four lists for funsies, and just for funsies.
Yeah.
Until next time. Snap at the screen. Snap at the screen.
Want to mean